everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Becca and today I'm going to be going over my TBR for the Summerween Read-A-Thon that's going on from August 24th, which is today, the day that I will be uploading this video, to August 30th. For those of you who don't already know about this read-a-thon, it's being hosted by Olivia from Olivia Read-A-Thon and Gabby over at Gabby Reads. I'll have both of their announcement videos linked in the description below so you can check those out as well. There are 5 prompts for this read-a-thon, and though I do have a book that matches each one, I'm not really sure which ones I'm going to get to, so I'm just going to go over the prompts really quickly and then go over the books that I'm hoping to get to during this read-a-thon. So the challenges for this read-a-thon in no particular order are to read a book with a haunted house, read a book with paranormal elements to it, a book with a creepy cover, a book entirely in the dark, and to read a book that's been suggested by one of the hosts. Some of the books on my TBR can actually meet a couple of these challenges, which is why I haven't picked one specifically for each challenge, but I have picked 5 books that I'm definitely going to try to get to. And the very first one is going to be Mexican Gothic, as it was already on my TBR for the month of August before I even learned about this read-a-thon. Mexican Gothic basically follows our main character as she is called away to the countryside at the behest of her newlywed cousin. While there, she has to try and figure out what's going on with both the people that live in this house as well as the house itself. It sounds really interesting to me. It's got some paranormal fantasy elements as well as, I believe, haunted house elements in it. I have heard from a couple people that the beginning is a little slow or at least difficult to get into the writing style, so I'm a little worried about that going into a read-a-thon, but I'm going to give it a try anyway. The next book I'm thinking about picking up is The Shadows by Alex North. In this book we follow our main character Paul when he's forced to go back to his hometown after his mother falls ill. He's resisted going back to his hometown thus far in his life because when he was younger, one of his friends murdered his other friend, and since then there have been a string of copycat killers in that town. When he gets back to town, he finds out that there is a copycat killer currently there. The presence of that copycat killer, as well as his mother's cryptic warnings to him, remind him that the original murderer was never actually found. While I do have the physical copy of this book, I'm also hoping to pick up the audiobook so that I can read it in the dark, because I'm thinking that it will be kind of eerie and creepy, and this will be the perfect one to pick up for the Reading in the Dark challenge. The next one that I'm hoping to get to is Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. This book definitely has more haunted house vibes, which I'm really looking forward to reading. In this story, we follow our main character Maggie as she goes back to a house that her and her family spent some time in when she was younger in order to renovate it after the passing of her father and sell this house. When she was younger, her father wrote a supposedly non-fiction story about this particular house and all of the paranormal type things that happened whilst they were there. Maggie does not believe any of this, but while she's there trying to renovate this home in order to sell it, some things start happening to her as well. I've heard nothing but good things about this book and this author, so I'm really looking forward to picking up this one this week and hopefully more by this author in the future. I would also really like to get to the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I won't lie, I saw this book cover and the title and I instantly bought it before I even knew anything about this book at all. But basically we follow Patricia and this book club of mothers who are obsessed with true crime as they try and figure out what's going on with their new neighbor and the disappearing children. This book honestly sounds really creepy, and I think the dynamics between this group is going to be really interesting to read and see how they work together to solve this problem. Really though, I just saw vampires in the horror section and I couldn't resist. The last book that I picked up specifically for this read-a-thon is My Best Friend's Exorcism, also by Grady Hendrix. This book was actually one of the recommended books. It was recommended by Olivia at Olivia Reads-A-Thon. And in this book we follow two girls, Abby and Gretchen, who have been best friends for a very long time. One night, after some probably ill-advised skinny dipping, Gretchen starts to act very strangely, and weird things start happening around her. This leads Abby into starting an investigation to figure out what's going on with her best friend. Now, I'm not sure if it's the 80s vibe of the cover, the fact that it does take place in the 80s, or these sort of paranormal elements to one particular girl in the story, but it kind of gives me Stranger Things vibes, and Stranger Things is one of my absolute favorite shows, so I'm really looking forward to picking this up, even though I know they're probably not going to be similar at all, but my brain has made that connection and there's no going back. There's a couple other books that I want to mention in this video that I've picked out in case I have extra time somehow, which I definitely won't, or I just don't feel like reading any of those 5 particular books. I have some other options. We have Kill Creek by Scott Thomas, The Brightlands by John Fram, Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir, and The Night Swim by Megan Golden. Alrighty guys, that's all I have for you today. Let me know in the comments down below if you're thinking about participating in the Summerween Read-A-Thon and what books you're thinking about picking up for it, as well as just some of your favorite horror thriller books as I'm looking to add more to my collection. As I said before, I'll be linking Gabby and Olivia's channels down below as well, so you guys can go check them out. I'll have my Instagram linked down there as well if you want to look at that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with another one. Bye!